Hi, everybody. It's been a few weeks. You're all in your home. It's bound to be a few more. And maybe you're starting to get a little bit bored. So I thought I would share a few of the things that I used to do as a lonely, bored teenager. I would come home all my junior high years and half my high school years to nobody. It was just me. I'd come home, open the door, and next few hours, nothing to do except whatever I could invent. And so these are a few things that used to get me by. Um, there's a little bit of dexterous skill involved, a little bit of physical activity. Not so much. It's kind of increasing skills, but mostly it's designed to get you like off the internet, right? Out of the Zoom rooms, away from the electronic eyeballs, and just like inhabit yourself a little bit. So the first one is probably the easiest. This is a classic. This goes back to Depression era, and it is called throwing cards into a hat. It's very simple, very easy. You don't even have to have a hat. If you have like a cooking pot or anything round, you can just throw cards into, and that's basically what you do. You get cards and you throw them at the hat. Did you make it in? No? Okay, you get 51 other chances. You got nowhere to go. Just take your time with it, right? Just flick. Oh, I missed again. I'll try again. Flick. Oh, I made it this time. 1 out of 3. Keep going. You can even get fancy with it. You can assign points to the different ones if you want, but start slow, right? Take it easy. Okay. Second, juggling. This is this is something that any solo person can do. Any sort of solo nerd with a lot of time. Juggling balls on the shelves, right? I still have them from when I was a kid. It's best not to start with tennis balls because they bounce everywhere. You can start with some socks, roll of socks, right? Start with two and just one hand, just one-handed a little bit, and then integrate the next hand. I worked myself all the way up to clubs. I could do clubs behind my back and through my legs, 3 clubs. That's how lonely and bored I was. So I challenge you to get to there. Next is origami, right? Honestly, I'm not that good at this. I tried. This is a snail. No, it's not a snail. They just didn't have it when I was a kid. They didn't have origami as much. Now they do. There's tons of online resources for it. I have books on it that I will eventually look at and do better than this. But origami is number 3. Something else you can do. Okay, so those are a few things to get you through the boredom, through the monotony. And now, seniors and anybody else who is planning on going to prom, I know that that is not going to happen for you, and you are deservedly upset that you're not going to get that experience. But I just wanted to share with you my horrible prom story, and maybe that experience will mitigate your loss a little bit. Maybe the pain of mine will assuage the pain of your not going and getting one. So I wasn't going to go to prom in the first place because I was the kind of kid who was like, no, no, prom's, nah, it's like overrated, it's elitist, I'm punk, I'm cool and a dork. I don't need to go to prom. But at the very last minute, I got asked, right? And if you get asked at the very last minute, that means the person who asked you didn't have a date, or they didn't plan well, or they're like reaching, right? So I was her reach. But the thing is, I didn't care because I liked her. She was great. So I even remember her name, Sophia, right at the time. And the thing is, Sophia was belonged to sort of the elite crowd. This is Palm Springs in the early '90s. There's a certain rich element, even today, that I was not a part of. I did not grow up like that, but there was definitely a sort of like a richer portion of the community that sometimes I would hang out with, go to their parties, whatever. But I wasn't really tight. But Sophia, I always remembered her, right? Totally up there. So she asked, and I was like, yeah. The thing is, like, I shouldn't have gone in the first place. I didn't belong with them. I didn't really know anybody else. They only asked me at the last minute just because she needed a dance partner, right? It was the worst prom experience ever. We went to dinner. I was like out of my element. We went to a fancy restaurant where they gave you like three things to eat, and I was like, wait, where's the food? Right? I didn't know what was going on. I don't even remember the prom. It was so horrible. We got there and she's like, see ya. And I was like, this sucks. So on the way home, I was so like devastated and crushed. On the way home, I'm driving home super slowly, right? So slowly that the cops pull me over. This is true. The cops pulled me over on the way home from prom because I was driving super slow and they thought I was like drunk, which I wasn't. And they pull me over, they knock on the door and they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I explained to them that I'm so sad because of the night and how it went that they were upset too. They were like, "Oh my gosh, dude, that's the worst." Right? Well, just go on home and we feel for you and make sure you get in bed tight or whatever, right? But I got pulled over because I was driving while sad from prom. So your prom experience could be equally bad. It could be also be that bad, or it could have, right? I hope it wasn't, but luckily you get to avoid that. I am sorry you have to miss it, and I hope everyone's doing well out there. Getting back to classes soon, so stick with it and stay healthy, my friends.